All right, let's talk a little bit about the NBA and yesterday about the Brooklyn Nets. And Paul George said it was, basically criminal. I'm paraphrasing. It was criminal for him to only have one free throw attempt yesterday. And also, let's talk about Boston. Excuse me, Brooklyn taking on the Clippers, and they beat them 124 to 120. Kyrie said after the game, they got to play better defense. They giving up too many points, and they gave up like 140 something to the Wizards, and that's just comical, man. Yesterday, Paul George had 26, Kawhi had 23, Nicholas Batum had 21. Did Batum even score that much? And then Lou Williams, why is Lou Williams even playing? 4 points. Luke Kennard, 4 minutes, 0 points. I don't know if he got hurt or not. The Clippers need more. They need more. They need people to contribute more, like Lewis Williams, like Luke Kennard. I trade both of them. I know they play Luke Kennard. I told you one shit coming from Detroit. Check out my Detroit channel, Mercy Sports Talk. KD had 28. Joe Harris had 13. James Harden had 23. Kyrie had 29. They ain't got nothing from their bench at all. I just watched, most of the latter half of the game. It basically was just about Kyrie just making shots down the stretch. Kyrie was hot. Was Kyrie and KD and James Harden going to be that hot? Because you can't depend on James Harden, when it's time to win. And that's the issue right there. You can't depend on Harden when it's time to win. And, the Clippers, they didn't play great defense last night. But then again, how do you play great defense on how many of these dudes? 3 of the top, I'm going to probably say 3 of the top 10 players in this league. But in the 7-game series, if this was an NBA Finals preview, you can't count on James Harden to do what he did. He had triple-double, 23, 11, and 14. And maybe you could count on him. Maybe still, like Kendrick Perkins said in the 2012 Finals, he was going to the strip club and he wasn't focused. Maybe you can't depend on James Harden now. To be honest, I just don't think they got enough D. There's rumors that they might buy out Andre Drummond to Cleveland. They might get him. They try to get JaVale McGee. Kevin Love ain't going to help it. But looking at Brooklyn, if Philadelphia was able to get somebody like Damian Lillard for like Ben Simmons and probably some draft picks, I would say Philadelphia be. And then Boston, you just ain't getting nothing out of Kemba. Smart went down. So really, it's really open. I think the Clippers right now are playing the best in the West. But you worry with Lewis Williams putting up pathetic stat line. You're not getting nothing from Luke Kennard. Bruce Brown. I'm looking at this name right here. He was a Piston. I don't know why we let him get away. You got something from Marcus Morris Sr., not getting nothing from Reggie Jackson. Hopefully Patrick Beverly come back. You get something. It's time for them to make a move, especially with Lou Williams and Patrick Beverly. Beverly, I think he might be at the end of his physical, prime. But just look at it. Brooklyn gave up 32 points in the first quarter, 26 in the second, 32 in the third, and 30 in the fourth. Come on, how do you give up that many points? We suck defensively. You got nobody that can play defense other than DeAndre Jordan. I don't even know what level he's still playing at. KD can't be the defender that he once was. He with Achilles. So, to be honest, man, that's why it sucks. That's why, as far as being prolific scoring with James Harden and Kyrie Irving, they don't have the dynamic that Clay and Steph got. Clay can defend. Joe Dumars and Isaiah, they both can defend. They don't have that dynamic. That's why it's important to have a good defender in the backcourt. You know what I'm saying? And that's the issue right there. And then being a great defender is all about being a willing defender. That's the number one thing about rebounding and defense. The first thing you gotta have the will to do it. And right now, these dudes, I'm like, they got the will to do nothing. And to me, the team is just comical. They gotta try to outscore everybody every game. That's not gonna happen. You're against Anthony Davis, and they got no answer for Anthony Davis. He gonna score 50 if he get aggressive enough. Especially if he sit his yellow ass on the block. You don't got no answer for LeBron. So you got to go point for point. They ain't doing shit what they was doing with Mike D'Antoni in Phoenix and Mike D'Antoni in Houston. You can't win by outscoring people. Even some of the most prolific offenses in sports history, the Rams had a top defense, top 3 or 5 defense. Kansas City got a top defense. Nobody talk about their defense is just as good as Tampa Bay's. Maybe not just as fast, but you look at the top teams. You got to have defense. The Pistons, I think, in the 80s, they averaged like 110 in one season. 110 points, but they was the best defensive team in the team. You gotta have defense in Brooklyn right now. You can't just wake up and be like, well, I'm ready to be a great defender. Kyrie and James Harden. You can't wake up and have the will to be a great defender. I would probably bet the Clippers had a better chance of coming out their conference than Brooklyn does right now. If they're gonna rise up for certain opponents and not rise down, they're gonna find themselves not having home court advantage And it don't really matter without fans, but if they do get fans, they starting to kind of, dabble with fans. And I won't be surprised they had the NBA Finals at only one place. So like Georgia or Texas. But, you just can't turn on that switch. And they think they're gonna turn it on. They don't give home court. Philadelphia is dangerous. Especially if Joel Embiid continue to stay healthy, keep his weight in check. They dangerous because they get out there and defend. Boston, they just don't have that. It's something they don't have, But they get out and defend. And I think like Candace Parker said yesterday, I think it's to the fact that, Jason Tatum ain't made that next step as far as making his teammates better. If he makes his teammates better, they gonna be a problem. But with the Clippers, their issue is they bench. They only got something out of Marcus Morris Jr. for real. If you ain't getting nothing out of Zubac, Kennard, Lou Williams, I'm gonna tell you what, 2, 6, 11. So they got what? 28 points, 27 points, I think, off their bench, if I'm reading this correctly. 21 points, 28 points, whatever it is, off their bench is just comical. Oh, my bad, Reggie Jackson started, so they only got 22 points off their bench. It's comical. Had Lou Kennard done something, had Lou Williams did what he supposed to do. I don't know what Lou did, if he ain't in shape or whatever. They'll get out and win this game. Lou Williams is too talented to put in the stat line like he just put in. 4 points, 5 assists, 1 rebound in 20 minutes. It's comical to me. But hey, that is what it is. Let's move on. Fred VanVleet scored 54 points last night. He only missed 3 threes. And the Raptors are not playing in Toronto this year because Canada's not letting anybody in and out the country because of COVID. Okay, so he only missed 3 3-pointers yesterday. 3 3-pointers. He only missed 6 shots in whole. 3 steals, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. That's impressive for 37 minutes of play. They pretty much got in Orlando ass. Tampa to Orlando. I don't know where they was playing last night at. It looked like Orlando. Tampa and Orlando not that far from each other to begin with. And just looking at it, he was on fire. And you had a situation where I remember when Chris Webber, I remember you saying a couple years ago, he had he was having a bad day, and then he get to the game, he have a career game. So I think when you have a game like that where you score 54 points, or Will scored 100 points, or Kobe scored 81 points, or you get in the groove like that, I really think it's just spur. It's unexpected. And when good things come, man, it's unexpected. I know a person out there in Novi, Novi, Michigan, that won $1 billion. They won $1 billion off the Powerball. I know he or she wasn't expecting to win $1 billion. So, even when bad things come, when death come, when stuff come, if you get your shit in repo, you can keep out there evicted or whatever. But usually when bad things come, it's unexpected. When bad news come, it's unexpected. When good news come, a lot of times it's unexpected too. When you get that promotion or whatever. So, I seen some of the highlights, and VanVleet was just on. And, right then and there, he showed that he worked that contract that he got, And with Tampa, with the Raptors, Tampa Bay Raptors, whatever, and they may not want to come back to, to Toronto. And Toronto a dope city. If you have never been, it's hella dope. I remember I went up there years ago when I went to see the Lion King on stage. Yeah, they 9-12, so shit, they got a below 500 record. And if you look at the East before we get to see our boy George, I remember my grandma before she passed, she called him Boy George. You look at it, Brooklyn is sitting at number 2. They 14-9, and 76ers is sitting at number 1, 15-6. The Bucks 12-8. So these records to me is just outside of the Toronto, it ain't really nothing like dominant. Cause the A spot is the Hornets. They 10-11. So you got sub 500. Let's look in the West. In the West, barely above 500. 8-7 is Toronto, and then you got a couple guys above 500. Warriors just out. Spurs just out. So the number 1 team is the Jazz, 16-5, and they playing well, and they will be a championship contender if Rudy Gobert stepped it up. Then you got the Los Angeles Clippers, which they are a really good team. 16-6 lost last night. The Lakers are 16-6. The Nuggets got back in stuff 12-8. So I don't know what it was. Was it the quick turnaround? With the season, the guys would just party instead of getting conditioned or instead of getting their condition together, or was it that I didn't really know how to get my condition together? So I just partied and So I don't think we've seen the best of any of these teams yet. Minnesota sitting at the bottom of the West, 15-5. Let's see who's sitting at the. I think the Pistons sitting at the bottom of my Pistons. Check my Detroit Channel Mercy Sports Talk. 15-6. No, Toronto the Wizards sitting at the bottom of the. They're the worst team in the league, 14-13. But yeah, I mean, Paul George basically said it was comical that he only had one free throw attempt in Brooklyn last night, and that's what I like. I don't want to see Paul George and James Harden taking 50 free throws. Like, this is a men's league. It should be physical. Remember, the NBA should stand for no boys allowed. Let them play a little bit, like they let the NFC Championship game, let the Packers and the Tampa Bay Bucks play. Let these dudes go out here and play a little bit. Let these dudes go out here and do their thing and defend and all that shit. Let them be physical. And Paul George is an MVP candidate, but shit. I know he want to put pressure on the refs to let him know he getting fouled, but geez, stop crying like a little business. You feel what I'm saying? So nobody want to hear Paul George cry and be soft and talk about the refs, especially after the bubble he had. But let me know what you got. The playoff series he had in general. But let me know what you guys think. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, reader request. All my social media links in the description. Fastest way to reach me is Twitter, then Facebook, then Instagram. We also have a Facebook group, all links in the description. Want to make a financial donation? Cash App CJ Good 313. That's in the description. PayPal link in the description. Best way to donate is share the video. Check out the NBA Talk playlist for more videos like this. One time, we gone.